2024 wasn't a very good year for beat'em ups. Not only we didn't have a ton of releases, but most of the releases we had weren't that impressive, to put it lightly. Especially when you look at the IP-based games. Now, with the year almost coming to an end, Digital Eclipse brings us Power Rangers Rita's Rewind, one of the last beat'em ups of the year and the last based on a known IP. But can this game be the shining beacon in this sea of bad games? Well, that's what we're about to find out, but before I forget, hi, I am Savino, and welcome to the Flying Kick channel. As far as I know, and believe me, I don't know much about Power Rangers, Rita's Rewind is an original story featuring the original Power Rangers. Here, some sort of robot Rita from the future comes back to the past and joins with the original Rita Repulsa to destroy the Power Rangers before they become the heroes they are. Sensing a disturbance on in time, Zordon gathers the boys and girls and makes them Rangers so they can stand a chance. The story will take place throughout the game's 15 levels, with some cutscenes during the gameplay showing cutouts of the heroes talking about the events taking place. It's a nice story, I guess. I mean, if you're a fan, you will probably enjoy it way more than me, because I have no idea who is this golden monkey guy or this alternate version of the Beholder from D&D. But even not knowing the universe very well, the story was fun to follow. It gets in the way of the gameplay from time to time, but nothing that will hurt the game very much. One thing that I like was the intro. I found the art to be pretty cool. It's colorful, dynamic, well animated. I mean, it's not Shredder's Revenge intro, but it was a pretty nice touch that I'm sure the fans will enjoy. What fans and not fans will certainly enjoy are the graphics. Power Rangers is a gorgeous game, from the characters to the backgrounds. Every inch of the screen here is stuffed with details. The first level is already a sight to behold. I really liked how the developers tell a story here, showing in the background where you will go next. You will start here, looking at these mountains in the distance, which you will soon cross through a system of caves just to get out and see a city in the distance. After a few moments, you are out and about on the outskirts of the city, fighting your way through the streets. You will find moments like this throughout most of the game. It's a really nice touch and shows how much the artist cared. And this is not the only thing worth noting here. All the levels have plenty of details, with trash scattered around the streets, clothes hanging in the sun over the roofs of some buildings, and the stands at the amusement park filled with goods. And I didn't even mention the super scaling levels that are a sight to behold. Really, what happened to these games? We need more games like this. These levels are amazing, and if you are over a certain age, the nostalgia will hit hard. And these effects are all over the place, with sprite scaling and rotation appearing at every opportunity. I mean, it's no Mode 7, but it's quite good. Okay, jokes aside, this is awesome and something I wish more games were using nowadays. This is all complemented by some awesome animations. Both characters and NPCs are very well animated, and they will show a lot of fluidity when moving around or taking a beating. The way each one of the Rangers walks is pretty cool, and even I, who knows nothing about the franchise, can tell about their personalities by the way they walk. If you like, you can also add some CRT filters to the game in the options to make things even more nostalgic. I really like the options here, although I recorded most of the footage without any filter on. And of course, I would bring this up. Take a look at this parallax scrolling. It's so good. When it comes to sound effects and music, yeah, I wish I liked it better. The sound effects are a bit on the weaker side, at least in my opinion, with whooshes way too loud and impact sounds that aren't that great. I mean, from what I understood, these booties are robots, so the more metallic sounds when hitting them is appropriated, but even so it feels so weak. As I mentioned, the whoosh sounds are way louder, so most of the time all you'll be hearing are them, and not really the impact of your moves. More than that, these sounds are way too similar to Shredder's Revenge, which was impossible to ignore after I noticed it. And I'm glad the animations here are good because if it wasn't for them, most of the combat's feel would be lost. Another thing that bothers me a bit here is the voices. Digital Eclipse added a couple of lines for each one of the Rangers, and while I think most of the voice actors did a good job shouting some encouraging words on the mic, the fact that they repeat too often really makes things a bit annoying. Hearing them shouting
You're phenomenal!
every time you clear a screen is a bit too much, especially when all the actors speak the same line as everyone else. On the other hand, the story beats that will appear during levels aren't voiced, which is a bit odd and a wasted opportunity if you asked me. I mean, the game looks like a cartoon show and having the characters voiced would help to sell this impression. The music here is honestly pretty great. I don't know if these are original tunes made for the game or music from the show, but no matter what, they are awesome. It's the type of music that won't really get in your way or stick with you for long, but there's no way one can deny that it perfectly fits the action on the screen. The songs, even the ones on more darker plays, keeps an upbeat mood that can only belong to a Saturday morning cartoon show. It's pretty good, check it out. Now, when it comes to gameplay and combat, well, there's a lot to talk about. The first thing you should know is that you have 15 levels to beat, and the game will take around 2.5 hours to be finished. Each level will grade you with a score according to 3 objectives you must fulfill. Beating the level without dying, beating the level before a certain amount of time, and finding all secrets in the level. These are fun to try out and can improve the game's replayability a bit. The 15 levels you'll find here are mixed, with some of them being a traditional side-scrolling beat'em up and others the super scaling mode I mentioned. In this later mode, you'll be piloting your battle sword or a bike in the third person, shooting everything in sight in the best space harrier style, although you won't be flying around. This mode is pretty simple. You shoot everything that moves, jump some obstacles and holes, and grab some temporary weapon upgrades to help you along the way. By the end of the level, you will pilot your Megazord and face, in the best Punch-Out style, a boss. These battles are pretty simple when you get the hang of it, and it's a fun distraction from all the other punching you will be doing in the game. Talking about the punching, the beaten up part of this game is a bit limited. You have 5 characters from the start, but you can unlock the Green Ranger after beating the game. Your characters have a single attack button, a dodge, a jump, and a special move. You can also run by tapping twice on your directional. Aside from your basic combo, you have some extra attacks like pressing up an attack to throw your enemies up high or even escape some attacks. Pressing down an attack after a double jump will unleash a ground pound that has area damage, and if you press left or right, your character will unleash a nice flying kick. Your dodge can also be used as a counter-attack if you press attack at the right moment, very similar to what we have in Shredder's Revenge. And like that game, you can mix these attacks, both ground and aerial, and create some fun combos to finish your enemies. You can also grab and throw your enemies to help with some crowd control, and your special is pretty powerful in general, so don't be afraid of using it when you're having too much trouble. When it comes to the characters, well, this is a bit disappointing, but they are basically the same character with just a different skin. They move with the same painfully slow speed, and their strength, resilience, and even basic combo are the same, changing just which weapon your character uses to finish the combo. And yes, even the Green Rangers is just a palette swap of other characters. It's a bit baffling to see something like this in 2024. I mean, this was acceptable in Double Dragon, but after Final Fight, there's no excuses. I said multiple times that I don't know the franchise very well, but I'm pretty sure they were different enough to grant them different fighting styles. Unfortunately, the problems don't end with the Rangers being clones of each other. It's pretty clear for anyone who follows the beat 'em up scene that the devs were very inspired by Shred's Revenge and to some extent Turtles in Times. The way your character attacks, the dodge, the counter-attack after the dodge, the downward aerial attack, it's all pretty similar, but contrary to that game, which is a delight to play, the controls here are not as good. Everything feels clunky and hard to control, your characters move at a sluggish pace and everything takes a while to happen. While in Shred's Revenge you feel you have absolute control over your character, here you feel you're fighting the controls more than you're fighting the enemies. Talking about the enemies, and that's something I don't blame the developers, we need to talk about the lack of variety here. Yeah, I know the IP can limit a lot of what you can do in your game, but I felt I was fighting a lot of the same guys over and over again. Another thing that's lacking in this game is weapons. You simply don't find anything, not even a piece of wood to hit those weirdos on the head. You will find a lightning icon from time to time that will grant you invincibility and way more speed, and it feels like that's the speed this character should move. The only other item you will find in the game is food to replenish your health. They are not too common, the game will throw a few here and there, but beware. You can grab the food even when your health is full, so it's better to pay attention to it. When it comes to the AI, well, these enemies aren't the brightest. More than once I saw enemies simply staring at me without doing anything. They can't avoid danger and will often fall in pits while walking in your direction. They can give you trouble thanks to their numbers, but other than that, they are pretty easy to defeat. And there's the bosses. I don't know when this became a trend, but the bosses here are full of gimmicks. Instead of being able to throw some cool attacks at them, you will be able to throw a basic combo and wait for them to do whatever they want while being protected by an impenetrable shield. It's boring, it's annoying, and in many cases all you can do is jump around or try to dodge some bombs. I mean, it's simply not for me. Some of the super scaling levels can overstay their welcome, taking a long while to beat. I mean, this would be cool as a bonus stage or 1 or 2 levels to change the pace in the middle of the game, but they will appear very often, and thanks to that, by the end of the game, I start to find them pretty annoying. Not to mention that you will face this same boss 3 times, which wasn't super excited the first time I faced it, let alone the third one. Aside from the story mode, you have a training room, which is as basic as you can expect, and a speedrun mode that makes no sense to me. The name of the mode explains it all. You will play the game with a timer, and when you beat the game, you can brag about how fast you did it. The problem here is that this is not an arcade mode. It's the story mode with a timer, so if you don't click fast enough to skip the cutscenes, you will be losing a lot of time. I mean, what's the point? You even have continues in this mode. It seems they just slapped a timer on the story mode and call it a day. I really don't understand what's going on here. Oh yeah, and I almost forgot about this. The game has 3 difficulties: easy with infinite continues, normal with 10, and hard with only 6. So far, so good. But if for some reason you have to quit mid-level or just want to go back to the menu to pick another character since the game doesn't allow you to change between levels, you lose a continue. Yes, for some reason, quitting the game to take care of your life will be punishable with 1 credit less in your pocket. And if you run out of continue, it's bye-bye save file. Look, I'm okay with the idea of limited continues. I think it's a bad idea, but okay, I can live with it. Now, taking one of your credits because you don't want to play a 2-hour long game in one sitting, it's a bit too much. I don't know who came up with this idea, but I hope they change it in the future because it's really, really bad. Overall, Power Rangers Rita's Rewind is another disappointing game of a rather disappointing year. The game is not bad, there are no bugs that can get in your way, and you can even have some fun here and there, especially with some friends, but there's no reason to play this game after you beat it once. All the characters play exactly the same, and there's nothing to learn after you master the basic combo and dodge. For $35, I can't recommend this game. Maybe if you're a huge fan of the franchise, you can find value in this game, but for those like me who are just looking for the next great beat 'em up, this is not it. I can recommend this on a deep sale like 10 or $15, but no more than that. And that's it for the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed this look at this polarizing game because I saw a bunch of reviews praising this game, some calling this one of the best beaten ups ever, and I was pretty confused. But what are your opinions about this one? Have you already played it? Did you like it? Let me know in the comments, and in the meantime, I hope you all have an awesome day, and remember, keep beating up.
Okay, regroup. Okay, regroup.